This is an installation video for the Xicato light engine that goes in the typical reed or Tule pendant. So you take a pendant of any size. On one end you've got the reflector side with the COB showing. On the other side you have the top plate with the snap rings on the inside. And we use a small screwdriver, an 8-inch pick rod as we call it, that's made out of sealing system hang wire, bent at a 90-degree angle. It gives you something to fish things around with, and a pair of needle nose if all else fails. So now we're going to begin the disassembly of the fixture. First, you pull out the first snap ring using the small screwdriver. So out comes the first snap ring. Then we're going to loosen the wire on the top plate. The reason for doing this will become evident later because we have to pull the wire back through the fixture. So you need to release extra wire so that you have the ability to do that. All right, now we're going to pull out the second snap ring. So the top plate can feed down through the body if it needs to. Then we're going to flip the fixture over. And then we're going to proceed with removing the reflector. This is typically a two-handed job. Works best probably with two thumbs, moving counterclockwise to release the reflector. If the reflector doesn't want to pull out by itself, you can use the pick rod to reach down next to the COB and pop it out. Okay, now we're going to proceed with removing the next snap ring. Just below this snap ring, there is an O-ring. You need to make sure you do not lose that. That's part of what provides compression to keep the light engine from rotating. So then it's a matter of gently shaking the fixture for this light engine to pull out. Now, this is why you had to release everything from above. You'll notice that there's also another O-ring here. That's going to be used when the fixture is put back together. One of the things you'll notice is that the JST is looped through. What this does is it keeps it locked down in position, especially on long fixtures, and keeps everything from disconnecting. So go ahead and show how that's disconnected. Go ahead and remove that all the way. Now, if you have your new light engine, the way that it goes back in is essentially the opposite way. So the very first thing that has to go back onto the lead is the O-ring that's going to be at the bottom of the light engine. This O-ring has to seat against the snap ring down at the bottom. And the reason that we have the pick rod is it never wants to seat square the first time around. So you use that to fish it. Let me see if we can get, there you can get an idea of what it looks like in position. And now we're going to put it back together. So then you thread the connector through and lock it into the connector. There's only one way the connector goes together. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but it does need to lock. Okay, now we're going to reinsert the light engine. This requires pulling on the back of the fixture and feeding everything down through it. The next step is making sure that the O-ring is in the right spot. use the pick rod to pull it back up or to lay it flat. Now we got that, so gently slide the light engine back in, taking care not to dislodge the O-ring. And take the second O-ring and put that on the front, and then insert the snap ring. Once you have that done, then it's time to reinsert the reflector. Now it's critical with the reflector to get it to seat properly before you twist it into place. So you can see here it's seated with no space around the COB. So now you just twist lock it clockwise using 2 thumbs, and you should feel it snap into place. Then you flip the fixture over and put the first snap ring back in the top. Then you proceed with you loosen the nut on the top plate and tighten it again. This wire grip is not necessary for suspending the fixture because you see the safety knot there. That's what actually maintains the weight of the fixture and keeps it from going anywhere. Now you reinsert the top plate. Add the second snap ring back in place. Test it to make sure everything is seated well, and you are complete with a light engine replacement.